Hi, my name is Frank Smith. My friends call me Smitty. I am a geologist and a prospector. For over 30 years, I've made my living working in the bush, staking claims, prospecting and mapping. I have worked in the bush spring, summer, fall, and winter. I want you to tag along with me for a while, and I want to tell you what it's like working in the bush. Plus, I want to share something special with you, especially with you ladies, and perhaps a few of you men. I want to show you how I've come to trust my heart and not my head, but that'll come a bit later. First, let me just say that I enjoy working in the bush. I don't know why, but there were times in the past when I just felt reborn. I usually start work in May. That is when I have to deal with the black flies. Then mosquitoes a bit later after that. Then along come the deer flies and horse flies in June and July. Not to mention ground hornets in August and the occasional yellow jackets or a wasp's nest I accidentally knock over at least once every field season. Of course you would think that by now I should be used to wood ticks and spiders down my shirt. And I really don't have anything against caterpillars, but every once in a while, well, let's just say my fuzzy friends and I have a close encounter. Did I mention that I always have bruised or banged up shins from hidden logs? And of course there's the weekly occurrence of a branch in the eye or a stick in the groin. But you know what the real problem with my job is? It's only seasonal, and I can't get enough of it. Plus, you know what I have come to realize? There is justice in the land. Did you know it is only the female mosquitoes who bite me? They are the ones who want to stick their proboscis in me. But I'm left with a swelling or a bump under my skin. And after getting what they want from me, they just pull out and leave. Well, the way I figure it, ladies, it's payback time for what us guys do to you. Being in the bush is like being with a woman. Sometimes the branches gently stroke my face or body, and when I am surrounded by a bunch of trees, it seems as though the branches are reaching out to hug me. Mind you, every once in a while I get a bit out of line and I am put in my place. But let me get to telling you how I learned to trust my heart and not my head. For years I've always trusted my head. I trust what I can see, what I can hear, what I can touch, or just plain figure out. Take bears for example. I've gone for over 25 years without seeing any bears in the bush. That's because I use my head and my keen powers of observation. If there were a bear around, even within a quarter of a mile, I would know about it. That's the way things work out when a man trusts his head and not his heart. But something happened the other day that made me reconsider that approach. One day I got a fortune cookie at my favorite Chinese restaurant that said, "You'll see bones today." Well, what kind of hokey-pokey garbage is that, I thought. I'm not a butcher or an undertaker. I've never seen any bones in the bush before. The next day I continued to do my prospecting. But I kind of felt, well, spooky when I came across something I've never seen in all my years in the bush. Bones. That evening after work, I went back to my favorite Chinese restaurant. After a nice meal of curried chicken and beef and broccoli, I checked out my fortune cookie. You will find much gold today. Yeah, right. I've been in this business for over 25 years and made a good living, but I've never found gold. So the next day I go out to a new area to check out a showing I read about in an old northern miner magazine. But somehow my compass got all screwed up. Probably that damn iron formation again, I thought. No problem, I say to myself, I'll just use my GPS. But somehow the GPS got left on overnight, and the batteries were toast. So I figure, what the heck, I'll just finish my traverse. It's only a couple of 100 meters further. And besides, if I use all the skills I've learned over the years, it should only take me another 5 minutes to get there. I have about as much chance of getting lost as the eastern seaboard has of losing power. Well, Mr. Man, 2.5 hours later, I stumble out of the bush onto a clearing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, all I can say is that what happened next was absolutely amazing. I came across a vein of gold over 2 feet wide. It was the best gold showing in Canada in over 100 years. Some old prospector must have stripped the ground and then died before he could do anything about it. There was gold everywhere. And the ground was open, so I staked it and sold it to Knox Fort Resources. But you know what? Despite finding all that gold and having over $20 million in the bank, I wasn't happy. Sure, I bought myself a nice house. And I bought myself a few nice toys. And I eat at some of the nicest and fanciest restaurants in town. But I feel empty. I'm not in the bush anymore. I don't have a sense of adventure and purpose. In fact, I almost missed the mosquitoes. Well, almost. So I went back to my favorite Chinese restaurant, and after another great meal, I checked out my fortune cookie. Learn to trust your heart and you will find your special treasure. At first I thought the person who writes these fortune cookies had been smoking too much marijuana. Mind you, I've never tried this stuff myself. I'm afraid I might like it. But that's another story. And that's when it hit me like a ton of bricks. The only reason I found the golden sidewalk was because I didn't trust my head. I couldn't use my compass and my GPS let me down. So that fateful day, I had no choice but to follow my gut instinct. No matter how you look at it, I was already trusting my heart and not my head. Oh well. The only thing I could do now was buy some groceries and then head home. So I checked out my Palm Pilot. Then I went to the grocery store to pick up a few groceries. What happened next can only be described as accidental, coincidental, and miraculous. Somehow I had bumped into this woman and she dropped her wallet. My head said, "Turn it into the manager," but my heart said, "Return it to her personally." I was glad I trusted my heart and not my head, especially when we talked and she gave me her phone number. And just before she drove away that fateful day, I smiled, because the fortune cookie was right. Trust your heart and you will indeed find your treasure.